Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. In this world we live in, it's so complex, right? What does it actually mean to be, say, well-informed or maybe even enlightened?
Hmm.
Is there like a shortcut, a way to cut through all the noise and maybe transform the ordinary into something?
Well, something our sources today call divine-like.
That's a great question. And it leads us straight into today's topic.
Exactly. We're diving deep into a really ancient, spiritually powerful composition, Asa Ki Var.
That's right. Now, Asa Ki Var, it's one of 22 Vars. You can think of them as epic ballads within the Guru Granth Sahib, the main scripture in Sikhism.
Okay.
And what our sources really stress is its unique role. It's not just something to read. It's presented as a kind of comprehensive guide, almost a mentor figure
A mentor. For what
for an
exactly?
individual's growth. And across pretty much every aspect of life you can think of: religious, social, cultural, moral, spiritual, even political dimensions. It's incredibly holistic. Wow. Okay. So our mission today then is let's try and pull out the core ideas from Asa Ki Var. How does this ancient text potentially offer a path, maybe that shortcut, to embodying these divine-like qualities?
Mm-hmm.
We want to zero in on the bits that still hit home today, the surprising parts, and apparently this whole journey kicks off with something pretty big, a paradigm-shifting invocation.
It really does. That invocation sets the entire tone.
So we sort of set the stage. This text aims to mentor us. How does it actually do that? How is Asa Ki Var structured to guide, an ordinary person towards becoming this enlightened being?
Right. Well, as I mentioned, it's meant to be all-encompassing. Religious, social, cultural, moral, spiritual, political. It touches on all of it.
Okay, but how? Structurally?
Structurally, it uses two main components, salix and porous, and they work together in a really interesting way.
Salix and porous.
Yeah, yeah. The salix often, they describe worldly things in detail. Sometimes they even tackle what our sources call fake notions, common misunderstandings or hypocrisies maybe. They kind of ground you in everyday reality.
So the Salix are like here's the world as it is, maybe highlighting problems or observations.
Pretty much, yeah. They set the scene, maybe pose a challenge, and then you have the porous.
Right.
The porous lift the focus. They contain this deep praise of the formless creator, often giving the divine perspective or the deeper truth behind the worldly stuff mentioned in the Salix.
Oh, I see. So it's a back and forth.
Exactly. And the main focus throughout is always the creator being, which is called Ankar,
Yeah.
and also that creator's vast creation, basically, nature. So it has this very divine feel, but it's also, like I said, deeply concerned with social issues, too. It makes it incredibly relevant, even now.
That interplay sounds really dynamic. Earthly concerns met with divine perspective. And you said it all starts with that big paradigm-shifting invocation.
Yes, the Mool Mantra. It's the absolute foundation.
The Mool Mantra. Let's unpack that.
Okay. It's short, but incredibly dense with meaning. It goes, Ikukar sati namu karta piraku nirvao nirvairu akal murati ajuni savavagur prasari.
Wow, okay. That's a lot packed in there.
It is. Let's break down the key ideas that make it so paradigm shifting, as the sources put it.
Please.
So, Gut Kwankar, this points to the one creative and pervasive force. It's unique, nothing else like it. And importantly, it's described as pervading beyond gender. That's quite something.
Beyond gender. Interesting. What's next?
Sati Namu. Think of this as eternal identification, or maybe eternal truth, the divine's unchanging reality. Then Karta Puraku, which means the creator being. So these first bits establish what or who this divine is.
Okay, so a singular eternal creator. Then it seems like the description shifts a bit, right, to qualities. Things like nirbal and nirvaru. What do those tell us?
Ah, yes. And this is where it becomes really transformative for the individual listening or reciting. Nirbao means without fear.
Without fear.
Yeah, the implication being there's no equal, nothing that can threaten this one force. And nirvairu means without enmity or without vengeance.
Why without enmity?
Because the idea is only Ikankar truly exists in that ultimate sense. There's no other to be enemies with. And here's the connection our sources highlight. If you meditate on a divine that is inherently without fear and without enmity, well, that process can start to change your own relationship with fear and conflict. It guides you away from those human limitations.
Wow. So it's not just defining God, it's giving you a template for your own transformation. By understanding the divine's nature, you're guided towards embodying it yourself.
Exactly. That's the mentoring aspect right there. Then it continues, Akal Murati. That's formless and beyond time. It doesn't age. It isn't affected by time.
Okay.
Ajuni means unborn. It doesn't go through birth or death cycles. And Saiba, this means self-illuminated or self-existent.
Self-existent, meaning it doesn't need anything else.
Precisely. It's not dependent on any other source for its existence.
It's just amazing how much meaning is condensed into these few words. Our sources really emphasize the linguistic genius here, calling it a pioneering attempt to describe Ankar.
It really is.
They say it's extremely original and creative. It's like a precise map using only adjectives all strung together, no extra words, no verbs. And as you said, contemplating these qualities, like without fear, directly guides the person listening.
And that structure leads us to the very last part. Guru Prasadi.
Guru Prasadi.
What does that add?
It means through the grace of the guru, or through the grace of wisdom, you could say. Now, grammatically, this is fascinating because it's not an adjective like the others.
So it breaks the pattern.
Deliberately, yes.
Yeah.
Guru Nanak Sahib structured it this way. This deviation, as our sources see it, isn't random. It powerfully underscores how crucial the guru, the embodiment of wisdom, is for attaining Omkar.
So it's saying you can understand all these qualities, but realization comes through grace, through guidance. Exactly. It's not just intellectual study or pure self-effort. It requires that spark of insight, that guidance, that grace.
So putting it all together, the Mool Mantra's structure, those specific adjectives, and ending with Guru Prasadi, it draws a direct line, doesn't it, between understanding the nature of Ankar and realizing it through the Guru's grace or wisdom.
A very clear and direct line. It's an incredibly profound and concise statement about the path to spiritual realization.
And this then sets the foundation for the rest of Asa Ki Var.
Precisely. The Mool Mantra gives the essence of the divine. Then, as we discussed, the Salaks dive into the world, sometimes using satirical arguments, the sources say, to challenge those fake notions or hypocrisies we see around us.
Satirical arguments. Can you give a quick sort of example? Like, what's a fake notion a Salak might poke fun at, and how would a Pari respond?
Sure, okay. Imagine a Salak that maybe gently mocks someone who's very diligent about external religious rituals like taking baths in the holy rivers.
Yeah.
But inside, they're still full of anger or greed.
Okay, so pointing out the hypocrisy.
Right? The Salak might highlight that outward show without interchange. Then the Pari that follows might shift focus entirely, praising the formless creator, maybe emphasizing that true purity comes from connecting with the divine within, from living virtuously, not just from the external act.
I see. So it constantly contrasts the superficial with the essential.
Exactly. It's this wonderful blend of the practical everyday world and the sublime divine perspective.
Yeah.
It keeps guiding the listener back towards deeper understanding.
Okay, so wrapping up our deep dive into Asa Ki Var, what a fascinating text. We've really seen how it's designed to be this mentor, guiding people towards, well, spiritual growth in every part of life. And right at the core, you have the Mool Mantra, this incredibly concise, powerful definition of the divine, using language in such a precise and transformative way.
It really does frame everything. And maybe this leaves us with a thought for you listening at home. Well, if Asa Ki Var suggests that an ordinary person can become divine-like by truly understanding this one creative and pervasive force, and through the grace of wisdom, maybe ask yourself, what one pervasive force seems to be shaping your life right now? And what kind of grace, what kind of wisdom or insight might you need to really understand that force better?
That's a really powerful question to sit with. How can these ancient ideas about a unifying force, about enlightenment through wisdom, maybe resonate with how you see the world today?
Something to ponder.
Absolutely. We hope this deep dive has given you some fresh perspectives, maybe even that little shortcut to some big insights. Thanks for joining us.